on right now?
I do have a new album coming out this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Oh my gosh, Heidi. I have been working on this record since 2018.
Really?
It's ridiculous. Okay, so 2018, the band, we had finished our record and I wasn't sure what to do with it. And the band was kind of looking like things were kind of in flux. And so I was like, I gotta record a solo record. I gotta keep writing music and actually this record has a lot of songs that have been floating around
Mhm.
that never ended up on a CD. Like one of them is from literally like 2000. I released a solo, no, it's actually not on Spotify or anything, but I have a solo record that I have sold hard copies of in 2010. And this song never made it onto that record. I don't know why, because I was still kind of playing it at shows, just not, it wasn't like a staple in my set. But this song just kept on kind of floating to the surface, coming back up. So that's an example of like, there's a song that I wrote in 2000. There's a couple of songs that are more recent, and the producer that I worked with, we co-wrote a few songs on this record. But like I said, I started working on this record in 2018. I was working with a guy out of Milwaukee. His name was Mike Hoffman, and Mike Hoffman was an amazing talent and very well loved in the Milwaukee area. And he used to play in a band called Yipes. They released a record with like Warner Brothers Records or something in like 1979. It was like this power pop thing, and they were like way ahead of their time. The record label didn't know how to market them. And so I think they had like two records, but I was always a fan of Yipes. My older siblings used to go out to the bars and go see the live music, and here I'm like whatever grade I'm in 1979, and I like fell in love with this band Yipes, and they were from like the Milwaukee Madison area, and so the band, like all the guys in the band ended up, the band broke up a couple of years after that. And then one of the guys in the band is Pat McCurdy. And Pat McCurdy is kind of well known in the Milwaukee area and maybe in the southwest region of Wisconsin. But he was the lead singer for that band. Well, so all the guys in the band are still doing music, and Mike Hoffman started doing a lot of producing. In fact, I think he did something with the Verve Pipe. He had like a gold record on his wall. I think he worked with the Verve Pipe for a song or something. And then, so in 2018, I started working with Mike Hoffman. I was like, hey, to work with Mike Hoffman. He was like in the band Yipes and blah, blah, blah. And it was awesome. So then in 2019, Yipes decided to record a new record, do a reunion, and record a new record, and do all these reunion shows. And so I was on the back burner, which is totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we started getting back into the studio in 2020, and then COVID hit. And God bless his soul, he was requiring masks, and I was like, I can't be in the studio and wear a mask. And so he was doing the right thing. So I just waited it out. Mm-hmm. And I was in the studio here and there, and he passed away then.
Oh no.
2021. And it's not like we got a lot of work done on this record. Most of the songs had like a vocal track and a guitar track. And so I had all these like 2-track mixes of like vocals and guitar and maybe like some funky like drum loop that he created or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and losing Mike Hoffman was a very massive loss for the Milwaukee music scene. He was very well loved, and it was heartbreaking. And so we lost Mike, and I was just like, shit, I just got to start over. And that's what I did. And so in 2022, I started working with this producer in the Syracuse area. And his name is Josh Christian. And he actually used to play in a metal band called Toxic. Kind of, you know, known in the metal world. If you're, you know, in that, if you know, you might have heard of Toxic. They've done some stuff. So I flew out to Syracuse in March and May of 2022. And then Toxic had a tour, a little mini tour in Europe in June of 2022. And so we had to get this record done. And it wasn't happening. And so I actually literally found a new mixing engineer to mix this record. And so Joel and I have been working together to mix this record. And finally, Heidi, this past Wednesday at 10:30 at night, 10:30 or 11, I was at Joel's studio because we had to get this record done because he literally was getting a new mixing console in his studio this week. And I'm like, he's like, I gotta be done with this record. And I'm like, let's make it happen. And so I took my speakers that I like to listen to music in. I took them over to the studio so that we could work on a mix. I'll go listen on my speakers in the other room. Because you got to listen on speakers that you're used to listening to music on and listen as much as you can. You know, if you can listen to a mix for 20 or 30 times, that's the ideal situation, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't have time for that. So I gave the final approval on the final song on Wednesday night at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And now my record is mixed. After 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years, my record is done. So it will be coming out later this year. I'm not sure when because I might be working with a kind of a newer record label that my manager has negotiated. We might be able to do some stuff with them. So I don't know what's going to happen in terms of what the record is going to, you know, how we're going to promote the record and all that stuff. But the plan is to release this record later this year. That's all I can say.
That's exciting. That is exciting. So everybody stay tuned. Stay tuned.
I am so excited, girl.
I'm assuming you're going to be playing some of those songs that'll be on that album at Formapalooza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And maybe in the flight crew.
All right.